our dog, Jacob Kindig.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also going to be Fight Week with the kickboxing on May 20th at Spiece. So, Dave,
3 weeks.
we are pumped up, aren't we, baby?
3 weeks.
We are really excited for this weekend. Excited to have our two guests.
Yes.
It's fight, like you said, that's a great coin right there. Fight week, fight
baby.
month.
It is Fight Month. And speaking of Fight Month, Hernandez.
Yes, sir.
A name spoken with pride in the 260 when you talk about martial arts. And David, talk to us a little bit. You have such a rich background in the fight game with the martial arts. Now, you like to focus a little bit more on kickboxing. Kind of tell us a little bit about your background, David, and all the success you had as a fighter.
So I started martial arts, and I mean, I was always an athlete as a little kid, did different sports, but started actual
What was your
martial
best
arts.
sport?
Soccer.
Soccer?
Footwork.
I'm from Colombia.
You better know how to play soccer from Colombia.
I tell you, soccer helped me with my leg strength for kicking.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of went hand in hand, but I started as a martial artist when I was 15. Actually, I was 14 to 15, and I quit because I hated it. I just did not like it. And about a year later, one of my friends from high school said, "Hey, come to our school," and I was like, I don't like it. And he just kept on me and on me and on me, and I was like, fine, I'll go, So I went and instantly fell in love with it. It was just a different environment, different school, and all I had to do with the persona of the place, the instructor. So from there, it was just not I didn't look back, you know. So became a black belt in Taekwondo, started doing some kickboxing, left for the military. Did my
What year was this when you went into the military?
95.
95.
August
Wow.
16th of 95. We all know our enlisted date. So went in the
And
military.
thank you for your service.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you.
absolutely, brother.
Left the military after my tour, and then came back and started odd end jobs. Didn't know what I was doing, but I went back into martial arts full force. I still trained while I was in the military, but when I got back, I really got into training. A few years later, became national champion, world champion in martial arts, and I got invited to try out for the national team. Became a second runner-up for the national team, which gave me an opportunity to try out for the Olympics also.
Okay.
Wow, impressive.
So it was a fun run. It was a fun run. But I dropped that dream and pursuit for bigger reasons. And after that, started just teaching here and there, training with some people, buddies of mine that would come in and just train with me. And then ironically got laid off from a job. And at that point, I said, you know what? I'm going to do this full time.
Wow.
I'm going to do this full time. And I just had like $300, $200 in my account. I was broke. I had a credit card and just maxed it out, bought some equipment, and never looked back. And from there, training out of my house. in my
Most
garage.
American dreams right there.
That is the American dream. And talk about the discipline. Obviously, you had to have tremendous discipline to master the martial arts. Did that give you the confidence to roll the dice and to start the gym?
It did. It really did give me. For a long time, other people, family members, talked me out of doing what I wanted to do. But, most people's mentality is, get a job, work 9 to 5, and then you make money and that's it. So at that point when...
And owning your own business, you do a lot more than 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah. You quit your 40-hour week job to work 80 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you're never off. And when you lay your head down at night, you're thinking about your business. How do I grow my business? And then when you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about your problems with your business.
Every single day, all the time. And it's a nonstop. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and you're trying to figure things out, So just last night I woke up and I was working because we got this fight card that we got to finish up and make sure all the fighters are set up and everything like that. So it's always work. So now my family owns about 4 different businesses, and most of them are successful. Some of them are still up in the up and upcoming.
Sure.
But my hopes and dreams is that my kids, my 2 sons, will follow suit and hopefully own 10, 20 businesses.
There you go.
So
that is the American
fantastic.
dream.
Now, Steven, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
Put that leg up so everybody can see it. You're an inspiration.
Yeah.
Look at that, baby. Look at that sonar.
My precious piece of hardware. that allows
Talk
me
to us about your journey.
Oh, man. So, I became ill when I was about 19.
Yeah,
I'm 38 now.
sure.
I became ill when I was about 19. I got a staph infection, oddly enough, from a gym.
Wow.
And,
The mats.
not my gym.
no, not at all. And they keep it clean, I know. I go there. But it caused, like, for it to get into my blood
Yeah.
and make its way up into my abdomen. And so they did a bunch of surgeries to try to get rid of it and save the leg, but it ended up leaving me with, like, really bad lymphedema. And it was so bad that basically it looked like I just had one giant thigh all the way. I couldn't
All the
wear
way down?
pants
Sure.
or shoe. So after fighting it for roughly 10 years and probably close to every year and a half to 2 years, I'd be in the hospital for a month to deal with it. Eventually a doctor was like, we're gonna have to take it, and I didn't want to at first, but it was either that or not be able to watch my kids grow up. So
You're strong, and the reason I wanted you to put your leg up is you're an inspiration.
I appreciate it.
And for you to go out there and fight with the mixed martial arts and your background, if I'm not mistaken, you're one of the few that fight with that situation.
So I've tried to find more, just for competition. I mean, up until this point, any of the jiu-jitsu that I've done or boxing that I've done, I've never got to compete against other amputees. It's all normal people.
Sure. So you're always fighting uphill, but it seems like you've already overcome so much, man.
He's won 2 fights.
You've won 2 fights.
Wow.
I mean, it's a complete inspiration.
Against normal people.
And against
two
normal
arms,
people.
2 legs.
But talk about what the martial arts, man, and the relationship with David, and what that meant for you.
The discipline.
The discipline to overcome something that would. I tell you what, most people, that would be it. They would never do sports again. Now you're doing sports, brother. You're thriving.
Well, it was a lot worse than that, and that's how I stumbled into David's gym, because I got in a lot of trouble and so addicted to the pain medicine that
Of
the
course.
doctors were giving me that I felt hopeless, and I literally was going through just all kinds of life issues, and I went into his gym one day and I said, look, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to kill myself. I feel hopeless. I don't even know if I could do anything. And he was like, well, let's see if I'll work with you. I'm sure I could
Wow.
teach you. And
God bless you, David.
it was
God bless you, David, man.
it was one thing after another getting me to try to do, and now it's kind of like a running joke. Let's see what kind of crazy shit we can get this guy to do. And,
I got him to ride a bike.
I love
you know,
Got him to ride a bike.
but
I wouldn't even think about that.
It was like God's timing was right on time, because I literally broke down like the day before. It's like I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I need your help. I can't help myself. Like
So the day before you walked into the gym, you basically broke down and spoke to God and said, I don't know what I'm going to do.
yeah,
Wow, that's powerful, Dave.
and something just clicked in my head and was like, if I die tomorrow, this is all I'm gonna be remembered by. This is what my kids are gonna remember.
It's beautiful.
The people around me, and I didn't want to die like that.
Was the martial arts, Steve, was the martial arts and looking at David, was that kind of what you had to hold on to for hope? Try to get out of this hole? Or were you just looking for anything to hold on to?
I just wanted to live, but not just live, like have some meaning, I guess.
Yeah.
And or leave my mark, so to speak.
Sure.
And I when he said kickboxing and boxing, I was thinking, amputee bodybuilders. You know what I mean? Like what? That's easy. You know?
Yeah.
And he was like, we should try to kickbox. You should. And I first I was like, man, you have lost your mind. And but then it turned out like I was somewhat decent at it, and my cousin actually came back from the military and was like, you should try jiu-jitsu. And so I trained at Sudn Impact, and I trained with him out at Get a Grip Jiu-Jitsu, and David and me went to Chicago a few months ago, and as it turns out, I'm pretty good at jiu-jitsu. I got a gold medal.
Wow,
Really?
gold medal.
Wow.
That is fantastic, brother. You know what,
Good
man?
for you,
know what,
man.
man? Good for you. And
He's
you know
really
what, man?
good, and
It's
he's
an
frustrated. You see that amputee leg, and you think that I can beat, like, you can't even pass his what's called the guard. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
He just knows exactly what he's doing with that thing.
Now, David, the big event here at Spiece, and
Yes.
we're excited. We're affiliated with Spiece at SpieceFitness.com. May 20th, man.
May 20th. So this will be our 9th kickboxing show, about my 13th, 14th event that I've put on, but this will be kickboxing the Fort 9, and started as fundraisers. We still do it as so part of the proceeds are still fundraising, and this time we're going to be giving some of the money to the kids that travel and compete, and some of our fighters that don't have money. We basically try to find ways to help the kids as well. So we're doing another fundraiser next weekend on Friday, it's a car wash / taco, because it's Cinco de Mayo. We have tacos out there and stuff like that, but we do.
David, what you did with the handicap van, that was
with
a
Erica,
truly great
yes.
story.
So that was actually my very first kickboxing show, and Erica Purdom was she is a quadriplegic. She has very, very limited movement with her arms and hands, and she was one of the people that came to me, just like Steve, where she came in and she said that she had gone to almost every gym in town asking, can you train me? Can somebody train me? And every single gym, she said no. Everybody said no, and she just took a chance to ask me. I was actually at the gym when she came in to check it out, and she looks at me and she says, I know this is a far stretch. I want to see if you could train me somehow. I need to strengthen my core and my body. And I said, sure. She looks at me like, really? I was like, yeah, and she said, have you ever worked with somebody like me? I was like, no, but I'll figure it out.
That's great.
As you did here.
All right. So a few months after that, training her, I saw the wreck of the van that she and her kids were driving around on, and she had a aide that would drive them around. I wouldn't even get in that van myself.
Wow.
It was that bad. And I said, Erica, you need a new van. Like, you need something. This is not safe. And she's in a wheelchair in a van that has nothing to lock it in, nothing like that. So we put on a 5K run, and then did some other stuff for her kickboxing show, and basically just raised about $4,000. Somebody heard a story through the news, because we were on the news, and ironically, the lady that heard the story, like her uncle or her dad or somebody had just passed away that had a van. They had just bought it, but he passed away. So it was a brand new. It was almost a brand new van, but it
Divine
was
intervention.
Right. It was a handicap van, so it had a ramp and everything. And she said, "How much money have you guys raised?" I have about a $20,000 van. I said, "Well, we only have about $4,000." And she was inspired by the story, and she's like, "Whatever you have, I will give you the van for that." I was like, "Really?"
There you go.
So it was a miracle of God that we had something, and that lady was willing to do that.
And saw it.
Right. And saw the unfortunately the passing away of her family member, that she had all this estate that she needed to get rid of. So, because I don't think she lived here in Fort Wayne or something like that, but.
So we're excited about the event here at Spiece on May 20th. I want both of you to answer this, and I'll start with you, Stephen. What makes a great kickboxer?
Mostly like what you said, discipline. A lot of discipline. But you gotta have heart.
Fortitude.
You can have as much training and discipline as you want, but if you don't have the heart to do what it takes to win, most of the time.
Is it just mental? Is it so much mental to be able to have the toughness to absorb the blows and know that moment that you can strike?
You know, when you train and train and train, and like him and I train, and it's a joke because one day he'll have black eye, the next day I'll have black eye. You know, one day he'll have busted lip, the next day I'll have busted lip, but it's one of those things like you get these little nicks and bruises and stuff like that, but when you're in that ring, your mentality, your fortitude, everything changes. Like, it is so much different. Being out there with the crowd looking at you, you are the highlight. You've got that person in front of you that is there to basically demolish you.
Yep.
And your thought is either he is going to go or I'm going to go.
So he's got to go.
So he's got to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not in front of my whole family.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They came to watch me win.
Right.
And is that what's going through your mind when you go to fight? That, no, I'm not going to be embarrassed with my family. You're going to have to go through me.
Right.
So you have to have that Spartan warrior mentality.
Full disclosure, I'm terrified almost every time, right? Because it's like, man, I do not want to get knocked out in front of my whole family. But once the first punch is thrown, whether it lands or not, you kind of go into this mode where like, okay, it's real, right? And now it's going to get real.
That fight or flight.
You know,
Yeah.
right.
It's like you, when I fought, and like I said, I've fought in different style of martial arts, all kinds of different. I mean, I've got over 200 some odd fights, and whether it's taekwondo, kickboxing, boxing, I mean, all that stuff that I did. But every single time that I fought, I was nervous. It didn't matter how many times I got in there, I was still nervous.
Yeah.
But my thing is that as soon as that bell rings, my mentality, now it's a little different, but back then my mentality was I am here to kill. That's all it is. It's like a lion.
Yep.
You've got to think like a lion. And it's like, you know, a lion doesn't back down until it's starting to basically die.
Yeah.
So,
All the success of the martial arts for you guys, do you think you found your purpose? Here you are, so skilled with the martial arts, but yet you're helping people now. Do you think you found your purpose, David?
I think my purpose was to help people and bring community together. Like, martial arts was a vehicle to get there, and now I'm using that vehicle to get to that destination to bring the community together. You know, I put on the Fort Wayne Fitness Expo, and it's ironic that my second year having the Fort Wayne Fitness Expo, which is a bunch of different competitions I put together and one event. Somebody, you know, I was putting it together and I'm inviting all these gyms, and somebody said, well, why would you invite other gyms to your expo? You own a gym. I said, it's not about my gym. You know, it's about getting people active, exposed to fitness and different avenues of how to work out, because there's not just one way to do it. Not everybody's going to want to get punched in the face. Not everybody's going to want to lift a weight. Not
Right.
everybody's going to want to throw a basketball. You know, so there's so many different ways, and if I can find somebody that will never come to my gym because that's not their forte, but I can find them something else. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
To me, if I can do that, there's enough fish in the sea for all of us to flourish, to have enough. So that's
Joey truly sounds like an ambassador of the fort.
He is an ambassador of the fort.
You
and
really do.
He's an ambassador of the martial arts, and he took all of his success and has lifted people up with it.
Yes.
And that's what's beautiful about this interview. Now, guys, we have a rapid fire session we have a little fun with, so we got some questions for you. Again,
All right.
shouts out to Crystal, Sonar's wife, on this. Steven, when you're not training, what are you watching on Netflix?
I don't watch Netflix, but HBO Max,
Yeah, what are you watching on that then?
Gotham.
Gotham? Interesting. How about you, David?
right now I'm watching Beef.
Beef?
Oh, that is funny. I did watch a little bit of that. Can I use your bathroom?
Guys, what is your favorite restaurant in town?
Ooh, I'll have to say Biaggi's, only because my 9-year-old loves that place.
Honestly, I like bootleggers because of their wings. And
Bootleggers because the wings.
Bootleggers. Bootleggers, because they got really good wings and a Philly cheesesteak.
What is your favorite Mexican in town?
That would be Laredos. Well, I say Laredos, but my wife always says, that's not how you say it, it's Laredos.
David Hernandez. Oh, wait, you're Colombian.
What's yours?
What's that place that we went to on Jefferson? We went for your birthday.
Across the
Cebollas?
street from the gym?
Yeah.
That's
Mi Pueblo.
Mi Pueblo.
I like Mi Pueblo.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Okay, what are you guys listening to right now? David?
I usually listen. I'm a runner and triathlete. Also, I love long distance, and I usually just listen to like electronic music, techno.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. With the beat.
I just have to get that zone.
Gotta get that
you
zone.
know?
How about you, Steven? What you listening to?
So my fight song is Wild Boy by MGK, which is my fight name too. So I listen to that when I'm trying to get hype first, because it's what I walk out to. But some old Tupac and stuff like that. I like the old school stuff.
Okay, last question. Steven, could be any moment in sports in your whole life. What's that one moment you think of, man, when you lay your head down at night? Your greatest sports moment?
My first boxing match, the first round knockout.
Wow, that's fantastic, man.
Watching the guy melt down the ring.
How about you, David?
I would say that my first kickboxing match was my greatest moment. So I was fighting. The guy hit me just straight right in the ear, busted my eardrum. Woo! Freaked me out. I didn't know an eardrum could just repair itself at that point, but freaked me out, and I just, within 20 seconds, I killed the guy. You know, and I knocked him out. Knocked him down twice. So I knocked him down, he got back up, and then knocked him out, and it was done over with. So that was a fun one.
Well, David's got to get going, so
Impressive, you guys. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah,
We're
thanks
proud
for
of you.
having us.
May 20th.
Thank you, sir.
May
Very
20th
nice.
at Spiece. Again, you can check us out at SpieceFitness.com. May 20th, the kickboxing's on, baby, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, guys. Well, thank
now
you.
David's got to go be
Right
Mr.
here at Pete.
Now David's got to go be Mr. Dad right now.
Yep.
Absolutely. Go be Mr. Dad. And I tell you what, coming up next, we're going to go into the jungle. Playoff hockey, Dave.
Mr. Anthony Petrozelli.
Anthony
Comet.
Petrozelli, the Comets captain, is coming up next on the 260.
It's the 260 Podcast, live from Spiece Fieldhouse every Thursday at 7 p.m., highlighting all Indiana sports, featuring guests from the 260 area code and beyond. Live on YouTube every Thursday at 7 p.m. Just search the 260, also available anywhere you find your podcasts. And remember, when searching, there are no zeros in the 260. It's the 260 Podcast, live from Spiece Fieldhouse every Thursday at 7 p.m.